Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is Mo, and today we have a hot news of Netflix plans to offer video games in expansion beyond films and TV. That is at least what Bloomberg is reporting right now, that Netflix is indeed planning to offer you video games very soon, and they have hired a former Electronic Arts and Facebook executive to lead the effort, Bloomberg News reports. Mike Verdu, that's the name of him, will join Netflix as a vice president of game development, reporting to chief operating officer Greg Peters, the company said on Wednesday. Verdu was previously Facebook vice president in charge of working with developers to bring games and other content to Oculus virtual reality headsets. Now, you might think, well, that's not really surprising, and the second thought you have, oh my god, this will end like Google Stadia. This will be such a shit show. Okay, calm down, because actually I would say do not compare this to Google Stadia. Google Stadia had a pipe dream to offer something in the online space where they just do streaming, and that was basically their dream with Stadia, but they had nothing in place. The whole rollout was a shit show. That you have to buy every game on Stadia is a complete joke, and so on and so forth. Like, there's a lot of stuff which went wrong, and if you look at the options Netflix would have here, it looks more like Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox Game Pass is working. I've been actually using Xbox Game Pass on my browser on my phone for quite some time, and it's great. Yeah, they had some issues in the first 1 or 2 days, but now it's amazing and it just works if your internet connection is good. But think about it. Just think about it for a minute here. You're going to Netflix and you want to watch your newest show. You want to watch your newest TV show, movie, or whatever. And then in the same category, you find Netflix telling you, hey, you know what? The newest Call of Duty is out. Maybe you want to check it out. Or, hey, here's the newest Ubisoft game. Check it out. And it's the same subscription. Maybe you have to pay a few bucks more, or maybe they're really just using the subscription which is already out there. That would be super easy. You don't have to pay anything else. You don't have to buy anything. It's really just you log in with your already existing Netflix account, and bam, they're using the same interface, the same network, and you can just play the games. If they're doing it that way, it would be super easy, and it would be a nightmare for Xbox, because that's what Xbox is doing right now, right? You're paying for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and you're already using that, and then you are just going on the browser, on your console, like you can even use it on your PlayStation console or on your phone, and bam, you just use it. It's super simple. And that is what people want, simplicity. And a lot of people have always talked about, like, hey, who might win the Netflix of video games? Well, maybe Netflix themselves, if they are doing it right. Keep in mind, they are not allowed to do the same mistakes as Google did with Stadia. Like offering games being bought directly would be a huge mistake, but I don't really believe they would do it. And I know people will now say, but dude, they hired a former Electronic Arts and Facebook guy. Yeah, but especially with Oculus, like, they did a pretty good job to bring a lot of exclusives and games to the Oculus and basically make the Oculus the go-to headset when it comes to a lot of games. Like, don't get me wrong, the Oculus sucks because you have to link it to Facebook and you basically need a Facebook account at this point, and I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're leaving that aside and you're really just focusing on what that dude and his team basically did to bring all the people over there, they did an excellent job. And maybe that's exactly what he is doing there. He is not there to manage the experience, aka like how much you have to pay and how it exactly works. Like, he's literally just there to bring games to the service, and everything else works through Netflix. And if that is the case, this can end really well for Netflix. Now, will they develop their own games? They make it sound a little bit like it, But I think what Netflix will do is similar to what Netflix did with TV shows, right? They started off with just buying shows, third-party shows, and then at some point they added their own stuff. And I think this is what we could see here with Netflix games, right? That they're just starting with Ubisoft, EA, Activision, and all the big publishers and indie games and whatnot. And then they're like, all right, this works out. Cool. Let's start our own stuff, which will be exclusive to Netflix. Of course, that will not happen in the next 2 or 3 years. I would say it maybe happens in 5 or 10 years, but it might be a possibility. So this is great for everyone who's looking for alternatives to play video games. And this is a nightmare for Xbox, because I think that's the last thing they need, like a real competitor when it comes to cloud gaming. But for us, as consumers, the more competitors, the better. That's just it. Thank you so much for watching. I will keep you posted if we are getting a little bit more news, maybe something official. And if you enjoyed this quick news video, I would appreciate if you leave a like. If you didn't like this video, well, there's a dislike button right next to it. And if you're new to the channel, you want to see more gaming news, gameplay reactions, and gameplay thoughts, and everything really which is game related, I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe. That would help me a ton. So thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.